So welcome to the latest edition of MNI TV. I'm Heather Scott. I'm the MNI Washington Bureau Chief, and with me is Denny Gulino, our senior correspondent, and one of the most experienced reporters in Washington covering the Treasury Department. And he's going to fill us in on the status of the debt limit. So Denny, tell us what's going on. First of all, what is the deadline?
Well, that's a good question. We had a significant development just today, as you saw on our wire, Heather, that they're not saying when the deadline is, so that leaves it up in the air. Most people know pretty closely that it's going to be around March 1st, but we don't know exactly, and we won't know probably until middle of February.
Now, didn't the Treasury, though, send a letter saying that February 28th was the estimated deadline?
Well, we all saw that letter, and it was dated the 31st of December. And it was signed by Secretary Geithner, and it said February 28th, and so some of us leaped to the conclusion that they meant February 28th. But as we found out earlier today, they're not standing behind that date. They're saying that in the December 26th letter, that's the language that stands, and it says it's impossible to tell. So eventually they'll give us an official notification, but we don't have one yet, so we can only guess.
So now I know Treasury, and you've been covering this for years and have been through this before, but Treasury has some ways to get headroom under the debt limit to extend that deadline by a few days. So what are some of the things that Treasury will do?
They call those extraordinary measures, although they're now kind of routine measures, but they do a variety of things, mostly just to save money. They stop investing in a couple of pension funds, and of course the big one is called the G Fund. And by not investing there, they get about $159 billion to work with, the headroom. They have to notify Congress when they'll do that. We expect that any day now on the G Fund. But all put together, these measures allow them to keep deferring a lot of things to give them a little more headroom so that they can last until the last minute, whenever that is.
And what about, there's some of the things that Mark has been talking about, the 14th Amendment, that this administration can simply ignore the debt limit?
It seems every time we've had a pending crisis, everybody gets to work with their imaginations to figure out ways that we can actually avert that crisis. And Treasury keeps insisting that there's really no shortcut, there's no way to do that, but people have said, for instance, the last time around, that Secretary Geithner could invoke the 14th Amendment, which says the bills shall be paid, basically. They said that, well, we could sell our gold reserves, raise some money there. We could sell student loan paper that the government has, or we could accelerate the sale of mortgage-backed securities. And then, of course, lately, a story that a lot of people have had fun with is that we could mint a platinum coin worth $1 trillion, turn it into the Fed, and the Fed would give us cash, and we could use that. Well,
wow, how big would $1 trillion coin be, Denny?
Well, if it were only one coin and it was actually made out of platinum, and you'd have a hard time finding that much platinum, it would weigh about 200 tons if it was worth $1 trillion. So a little tough to move around. Platinum weighs 60% more than gold, so it's pretty heavy. Even if you issued a whole lot of platinum coins, you'd be using a whole lot of platinum, and apparently Russia has most of the platinum reserves. I don't know if they'd let us borrow it for a while, but anyway, that has been fun. Noted economist and New York Times columnist Paul Krugman endorsed the idea yesterday, with tongue-in-cheek, of course, and a congressman introduced legislation saying that he's going to ban that possibility. So, but today the conversation has kind of died down on that front. We're back to facing the reality that Congress actually has to vote on this, and when they will do that and what it will take, nobody knows.
Right. Right. Thanks, Denny, for explaining that to us. We'll have more later on the debt ceiling debate and the prospects of Congress actually raising the debt ceiling, which it needs to do by about the end of February in order to give Treasury the ability to continue to pay its bills. Thanks for being here, Denny. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
And
Heather.
again, I'm Heather Scott, Market News International. This is MNI TV.